you ever thought that the truth is inconvenient? Have you ever thought, man, truth just gets in the way of what we want? Truth is inconvenient when it confronts our desires. Truth gets in the way when it uncovers our lies. There's been some very recent uncovering of lies, including from Planned Parenthood. Because what Planned Parenthood has claimed in the past, and in fact, its CEO, Cecil Richard, told me in 2011, prenatal care, this is a quote, prenatal care, these are the kinds of services that folks depend on Planned Parenthood for. And that sounds great. We're here for prenatal care. That's wonderful. We care about women. We care about prenatal care. That sounds good. Well, the problem is this week, over 97 Planned Parenthoods were revealed to not provide prenatal care. One in Tempe, Arizona, this is what they said, quote, Planned Parenthood offers abortions so they don't offer prenatal care. That's an inconvenient truth. One in New Mexico said, we specialize in abortions. In fact, we just use ultrasounds to see how far along pregnant women seeking abortions are, not to provide prenatal care. If you call the Virginia Beach, Virginia Planned Parenthood, you'll hear a message on hold that says, we take care of all your reproductive health needs, such as prenatal care. But when you actually get through to an employee, they say, we don't actually provide prenatal care, quote, nor do our Hampton or Richmond offices. The truth is inconvenient. And yet the truth is that while Planned Parenthood says they do things like provide prenatal care, that's a big, fat lie. So not only does Planned Parenthood murder, it also is routinely lying. In fact, it doesn't want to own up to the truth of what's actually happening. Because we want it to seem like here at this place we care about women. We want it to seem like we're providing health care. In fact, just on your door, right around the corner, it says that there is a health care entrance right over here. Health care does things like help people and provide health for them. And yet what happens here at Planned Parenthood is that people are killed. It happens on Wednesdays, it happens on Fridays, we're told, that people are killed. Now, we're standing out here because we are convinced that the truth is that innocent people should not be killed. We are further convinced that babies are innocent people, therefore babies should not be killed. What truth are you convinced of that causes you to stand here week in and week out and say, let's kill these babies? Perhaps you want to say, well, the truth is that they're not actually people. They're not actually a person. They're something else besides a person. In other news, this week, there was an article that was published in the Atlantic. It was by a lady named Maura Weigel, and she titled her article, How the Ultrasound Pushed the Idea That a Fetus is a Person. You see, she wanted to say that it's ultrasound's fault that somehow we now think that babies are people. And according to her, the truth is that these babies in the womb are not actually people, that they're something else. And so she wrote this article saying that babies in the womb are not actually people. Only the inconvenient thing about the truth that reared its head is that she told multiple lies throughout her article. In fact, she did so many factual errors in her article that they had to print no more than 5 retractions to her article. When she said things like a 4-week baby doesn't have a heart, when in reality, the truth, the medical truth, is that it does. She said that a baby at 12 weeks doesn't respond when the doctor's forceps come in to kill it, when the truth is that they do. You see, the truth can be inconvenient when it confronts our lies, when it confronts what we want. But the truth is that these babies are people. The truth is that they have hearts and lungs, that they have eyes and brains. The truth is that they're a baby. Every one of my wife's 3 pregnancies, never once did they say, well, the fetus is growing well. They said, your baby's doing great, or your baby looks fine. Let's look at your baby's heartbeat, because it is a baby. That's the truth. That's the inconvenient truth that confronts every person that wants to say we are pro-choice, because what you are pro for choosing is the killing of a person. It is the killing of a baby. It's inconvenient to look at a video that shows what happens in an abortion. It's inconvenient to look at a picture of an aborted baby, because it's the truth that stares us in the face that this is a person. This is a person that we are killing. And the truth is that it's wrong to kill a person. This isn't complicated. It's not complicated logic. It's not complicated morality. It's not even complicated biology or science. It's a person. It wasn't ultrasounds that were pushing the idea that babies are a person. It was just ultrasounds revealing that babies are people. Ultrasounds just show the truth. So it's just as illogical to say that telescopes pushed the idea that the Earth is not the center of the universe. Or it's just as illogical to say that microscopes push the idea that there's such things as germs, to say that ultrasounds push the idea that a baby is a person. It only revealed what is true. And that truth confronts you, whether you will face it or not. That truth confronts the lie that these are not people, or that it is okay to kill them. Because these babies are people. Just like you and I once were an embryo. We didn't come from an embryo, we were an embryo. We were people with our own DNA separate from our moms, with bodies that were separate from our moms. You had your own body. Otherwise, what we say happens in pregnancy is that somehow moms suddenly get 4 eyes instead of 2. 2 brains and 2 hearts and 4 lungs. But no, this is a separate body. And that body is a body of a person. Never once has a human fetus come out as a pig or a dog or a cat. You see, the truth, the biological truth, is that what's growing inside a woman is a person, not an animal, not an inanimate object. It's a life. And the truth is that life should be protected, that we should care about the sanctity of human life, that human life is precious. And the reason it's precious is that human life is made in the image of God. You see, there is a God who made us and all things, and He made us humans in His image. And because of that, and if for no other reason, that enough would be a reason to care about life, because it is made in the image of God. In the book of James, God forbids us from even cursing humans who are made in the image of God because we're in the image of God. How much more does God forbid not just the cursing of human life, but the ending of human life? Because we are made in the image of a God who is real. And that too can be an inconvenient truth that you must deal with. But there is a God who is real. There is a God who is bigger than you. There is a God who gets to set the limit of what is right and what is wrong. And that truth is inconvenient because it does things like force you to change how you live. And yet it is the best news for you. Because it is foolish and naive of us to live apart from the truth. It causes things like writers in the Atlantic to say ludicrous things like that ultrasounds push the idea that a baby is a person, or babies don't actually have hearts, or babies don't actually respond in the womb. It causes them to say things that are scientifically, medically wrong because of hiding from the truth. It is bad for you to hide from the truth. It's bad for you to hide from the truth behind your smartphone. It's bad for you to hide from the truth with your fingers in your ears, as it were, saying, I don't want to see what's true. You might as well stand there and say, the earth is flat and we don't want to hear any otherwise. You might as well say that we still want to be convinced that the earth is the center of the universe and everything revolves around it. Except that would be backwards. That would be out of step with what is true. The truth is that these are lives that are being killed. They're people, and people should not be killed. human life should be protected and valued. People who write such ridiculous articles in the Atlantic should be shown to be the frauds that they are. Just like Planned Parenthood ought to be shown to be the fraud that it is. Provide prenatal care? We don't do that here. We just do abortions. That's the inconvenient truth of what's happening here. You're not here for health care. You're here for murder and for killing, and that's what you're supporting. That's the truth. That's the truth that you may not want to face. It's the truth that maybe the culture doesn't want to face. But that's the truth that we stand out here week in and week out to remind you of. That the truth is that while you say we're helping women, while you say the truth is that we're just here for women, that is just a cover for your big lie that too is a sin against God. Your lying is a sin against God, just like your murder is a sin against God. And so this week, like every week, we urge you to turn away from your sin. Turn away from the sin of lying, and turn away from the sin of murder, and turn to the only one that could possibly forgive you for this level of wickedness. Turn to a God who, despite your lies and despite your murder, still provided his own Son to die on a cross for your wicked sin. And he will forgive you if you will just turn to him in faith. The truth is that God sent his Son, his only Son, to die on a cross for your sin and my sin. The truth is that he is the only way for your sin to be forgiven. Do not hide behind the lie that says that your sin is not that big of a deal, or perhaps you don't even have any sin, or perhaps God will just ignore all of your sin. That is a lie, and a damning lie. Don't hide behind the lie that says, surely a loving God would never punish. Don't hide behind the lie that says, I am a more good person than I am a bad person. Come to the truth. Come to Jesus, who said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Caring about truth and caring about life is just us being followers of Jesus Christ, who said he was truth and he was life. And just like Satan is the father of murder, Satan is also the original liar. So pick today who you will follow. You can follow Satan, who is a liar and a murderer from the beginning, or you can follow Christ, who is the way and the truth and the life. This is what is before you today. You can either live in the truth, or you can live according to a lie.